The secret behind every is the breaking news regarding Kentucky. We have the truth about this team is coming very soon. So let's break it all down and discuss how these units. Arsenal 1 and Arsenal. Defense, but a performance that left us with more questions than answers. Let's say we have a lot to do. Smash like on the video if you do enjoy, and subscribe to the channel if you are. And let me know your honest thoughts on the performance and what you think it means for them. But starting off with the first thing, and that is relief over them. And they were after the 39th win of the season. Only 56 games they equal a club record most of the season, equaling 2001-02. A year, of course, in which Arsenal won a test, but more importantly than that, they also stopped a race. After losing to Bournemouth and Man City, Arsenal got their first league win in 20 years. As they say in football, when you go for a test, you have to think about getting the results. How you win also matters. This game was quite literally just get yourself open. A performance that was nervous for the reasons. Three consequences onwards, 14th place in the league that had more possession of the sets. Two big chances for Arsenal 0, with more total shots and goals in the same amount of seconds. As Gary Neville said after the game, Arsenal were fortunate to come out of the game with 3 points. And you know what, I totally agree. It's not to say the Newcastle were amazing. It's more about how passive Arsenal were in terms of the entire game stats. And scoring the opening goal in the first 15 minutes, it gave you the belief that maybe Arsenal were going to go for it this game, get their goal, get them going in the right position. But what followed after that is a familiar mess. An Arsenal team way too passive and way too pathetic. Comfortable and leaving the ball with it because they trusted the defensive team. The positive I could say was after much strong defense. Yes, Newcastle had their chance, but overall compared to previous games, our structure was a lot better. The reliance on defense is less of a strength than we had.
Now morning. Early payouts before a score. Go 2 goals up and you'll walk away with it. No matter what. If your team goes 2 goals up, you win. And single, hammers, and bet builders.
We knew it concern, because as we saw against Man City only a week ago, the result may have gone against us, but the performance really tough, giving fans a reason to be being more aggressive, pressing from the fans, causing mistakes, making their chances. This performance is reverted to an old familiar, but a lot of Arsenal fans, even if we get over them, are really uncomfortable. Because to win your first match in 20 minutes, you have to go for 2 minutes, rather than just stopping it as open. This game was more survival than it was a stand. When it comes to being secure defensively and being that survivor, to give praise to Pierre. After a standout defender on the game, after they gave us so many Arsenal players fell to the field, one of those players was Pierre. Because the 7.8 of his career is the highest of any Arsenal player in the game. Defensively, he was insane. 15 defensive contributions, 2 tackles, 4 interceptions, 5 goals, with 1 block shot to recover. 8 of 11 ground rules. Then again, that we only have 14 out of 15 passes. Let's focus on his strength between both and his limitations. Defensively, this guy is the definition of a runner. The way that he accelerates into defense, the way that he's able to win that ball time and time. The prime example that I'm going to focus on is in the second half, right towards me. After holding while Newcastle on that, the way Newcastle won the ball up to the left hand side, it's such a good shot. Similar to himself as the player that he is. When fans are forward and the offense. And we're going to talk about our translate in today because that is a completely different discussion. But after yet another huge defensive performance in Pierre, once again showing himself to be a monster in I also want to talk about him completing only 14 passes a week, because in Happy is a player that as strong as he is defensive, on the ball if also into the team that dominate, make more chances. They don't excel on the ball the same level with Hurricane. The Hurricane is far more about something, that's how they're the performance, it's far more technically efficient, and just being on the ball is definitely more fast. Focusing more on defensive ability, those games and that ability cannot be underrated, because in games that are need to be more secure defensive, or in games that are trying to see out, Happy is still going to be a very useful player. And the game that you put on was the Arsenal man of the match. Defensively, he was one of the main reasons that Arsenal got himself in. I want to put the performance of Gabriel Magalhaes because his performance were interesting. A 6.8 total score rates with 9 defensive contributions, 1 interception, 5 clearances, 2 block shots, 2 recoveries, winning only 1 of 6 area duels. On the ball, completing 84% of his passes. That's the area that I really want to focus on. Because what we've seen from Gabriel in the past few games have proved after years of development in the ball and showing the offense they really will. The first 10 games after the public mistake, Gabriel that I have seen is not as comfortable on the ball, especially when he's pressed on that left hand side. Without a clear technician that will try to play through next game, Gabriel was way too often comfortable at from the ball, and that would work if you had a clear out. cries out for this. The ball gets wasted time and time again, and the others are gifted the ball. Even in this game, the Arsenal trying to close the game. It was the same thing for Arsenal years ago. The Arsenal passed games. Fire 1,000.
Rocks and water.
But when you have a player like Gabriel Magalhaes, you want to receive the ball on the pitch. The moment that he gets pressed, he wants to roof the ball. Arsenal simply cannot abide by that philosophy. Then compare that to Man City, whether it's Cristiano or Gueye. Players that even when you press them, they're comfortable, they'll still find a way to find solutions. We have seen that quality from Gabriel in the past. Because don't forget there was a time that team was scared to press us because they saw no weakness whatsoever. But on that current left-hand side of his Arsenal team, Nketiah and Gabriel are not technicians on the ball. And that's why teams are not scared to press Arsenal on that side because they know that either Arsenal are going to root the ball with it or maybe they're going to make it. Yes, this is definitely not good. But going forwards into the future, I want you guys to answer the question down below in the comments. Look at the performance of Gabriel Magalhaes so far in the second half of the season. Are you comfortable with his on-the-ball ability? To know that he's not going to be a weakness for Arsenal going forward into the future seasons. Maybe he's just out of form, maybe it's an injury. After seeing the pattern time and time again, I do believe they deserve the conversation. Moving on to the second thing, and that's Eberechi Eze's super. In a game that Arsenal had no experience, Eberechi Eze provided one thing that we've definitely been missing. If it's a final third match. Scoring his 10th goal of this season in all competitions. His first league goal outside of Crystal Palace or Tottenham, already behind Gabriel Martinelli and Diego Costa the top goal has also built another amazing goal. The 17th Premier League goal from the club that goes to the single component to the history, with also the most goals to go one match. With a total now it's how also scored standing out within 198 seconds. This is a player that Mikel Arteta has identified for the second time this season. The reason for Arsenal not to press the ball straight into the box, because for just the second time this season, Arsenal have scored from a short corner, and no others are capable of it. Newcastle was not taking that defense. A goalkeeper so tall and quickly at training process. This game Arsenal playing for 6 minutes. Their first 3 corners of the game were first opening for 3 minutes. The first one going short and it was missed. The second one ran short again and we were able to get up to shoot. Third time we got side, with Mikel Arteta identifying Newcastle strength inside the box. Got down Gurney, got no problem, no flat crossing. Especially with the power of Eberechi. Down on the edge of the box, placing the ball into the box. It was instantly
The paper room black was more than 5 years, stopped building. Millions of people and newspapers were interested in revolutionary laser ice procedure. Almost all cases through 2027 named Sigmund. Perhaps to find out specifically.
And it may have only been a 0.03 XG. It was a rebuild Eberechi Eze captured in the with the organized full focus match since 2022-23. More than any other player in the entire league, with Bodie Fernandes and Kevin De Bruyne, cleared the area that Nicolas Jova had identified. In a game against Newcastle, he had to go short.
Have you got time for just a few questions?
As Eze started once again on the left-hand side, the game that got a 7.5 rating, with one goal from next year's 0.1, 3 total shots once attempted for dribble, and 7 carries in. As Eze scored his 26th Premier League goal over the last 3 league seasons. The same mark as Bruno Fernandes. And more importantly, started once again alongside Martinelli. Back-to-back league games after the game against Man City. It was a very telling performance.
Thank you.
And Arsenal playing with Martinelli. It's beautiful, he's a special player. He's always looking to find players in the pocket. He's so creative and these are the type of players that we want to play. It makes you better and I enjoy it. Now we'll talk about the Eze and Odegaard connection later in this video. But the thing to focus on right now is this fact. The fact that Eze comes alive in the most important parts of the season. In the last 4 seasons, his strike rate doubles from March to May, with 24 goals in 49 games, despite only having 21 goals from August to February in 111 games. A player that comes alive when moments matter most. And the good news behind it is the fact that Arsenal have those moments arrive. From a Champions League semi-final against Atletico Madrid, a competition all about individual performance. For the final 4 cup finals of this Premier League season, the fitness of Eberechi Eze is going to be everything. And looking at Arsenal left-hand side of the map, and no other Arsenal player has been able to do this season, as well as finding rhythm alongside Martin Odegaard. There was some very good news after the game, because after Eze was taken off in the second half of the injury, from seeing a smile on his face straight after being taken off, walking straight onto the Arsenal bench, instead of going straight down the player confirmed the news after the game was injured, and the right arm walking. It was just a precaution. Moving on to the third thing, and that is the attack still stays. And in Premier League history, with only 1.15 average per game, behind Man United and Leicester and Blackburn. The perfect way to show this in this game was the actual XG. Arsenal only 0.68 all game. Newcastle 1.08. Looking at those numbers there, if Newcastle were to even get a draw, there was not a single way that Arsenal could have won. And the game that we once again brought that pass to the pitch. 2 comfortable not like Arsenal can't do that. We saw it at the Etihad, the way that Arsenal pressing was one of the best teams in the league. The counter team has the ability to go and press and be offensive, which makes these type of performances even more important. Because Newcastle that are 40 are nowhere near Arsenal yet. But our style of play makes the game for me. No emphasis to go and close again, to go and score more goals. The worst part is when we get the chance, we also don't have the ability to get this. For example, coming in the 95 minutes of this game, after lovely atmosphere to win the ball and fire the ball, victory occurring for the defense. As Arsenal have a 3-1 opportunity, and yet their scores to find either not only a second or and again, we can in the first half, but the second half of the stage, with only one shot on that team. 7 tackles in the ball, using the ball 3 times, and only 5 passes complete. I'm not going to focus on the stats because this was going to be a stats piece. Instead, I'm going to focus on the reason that we've walked away from the first half. Fighting in this exact conditioning, getting Arsenal football, getting this up in very promising game. Only thing we can do to see from this tackle execution, and the tackle is quicker than all the other buildings. Let's see your first relatively Arsenal through the game. These performances are very important. Not because of how habits that we would have made the purpose, but more because of the trust that Arsenal players have in them. Because of this example in the 70th minute, Arsenal on the ball is perfect. Martin Odegaard ran towards the Newcastle. Looking at first, come on the left, but how the Odegaard still against. You pick up on Martin Odegaard's 40 seconds, and you're also forced to back with you the players trust your players, and any capacity. And you've got the Arsenal captain in that game with this total players, and the top 4 players in support, you actually still play for players. Hopefully, Arsenal got your 3 players. If we lose this league on goal players, the Arsenal don't put the first players, we have to execute the another space. And game that we also see a very significant impact, and that have a major impact on the team. I have it starting in the second game from this season, taking off the field. In a game that Arsenal had the time to have available in the game, they were able to start Saka, Havertz, and Odegaard in the first half, December 2018. Instead, Saka was left on the bench, Havertz started, with a 6.5 rating and an assist, and he had 39 times. The only thing Havertz was not able to do on the game, when he was looking at the pitch, he was very unhappy, as he looked straight down the pitch. His heart started to press, his injury was left in a precaution, and Bernard began to walk straight to the bench. The doctor thought was very important. Because the goal needs to across 2 factors. Those players have their strengths and their weaknesses. But in the games that aren't happening in their strengths and weaknesses, we employ those top companies to get the spending. Others of the people have super games. Only helping us to best that up, but also in fact of being a reliable athlete. Others have the same role in the hold up. We are definitely looking at this for the Everton and Martin, Everton as they were just muscular units. We also add the other qualities like totally down below the fence. Havertz is going to be injured. You guys trust me to your first. Moving on to the full state match, the score has to be. As Paul Merton said after that, it's not a nice one, it's very, very good. It's been so long since we last won the league, and that is unenjoyable. You should be enjoying these games, but it's so far from it. And he's actually a blazing performance. Because for all we put on the cards against the next league, I think that we have important to get the contact. And I think that we will play them. The final victory is in the second half on the 6th to the 17th. Key moments to focus. The first thing on Arsenal corner where Arsenal goes short and they're both to make anything. The lead will go easy. Arsenal fans start to get that. Then you see them to Arsenal back from that Nordic. And he tries to get the Arsenal fans going one side, trying to get him to calm down. When you keep wasting that speed, you keep doing this, it's only going to build that anxiety, only going to make it more. Instead, you have to give the fans something to believe. That's when you succeed. With your for example, the entire length of the field, really cool. Get Arsenal to get me. And the rest of the Arsenal, not the man even said quick. I just want to see a level of design and breakthrough in the face of Martin Odegaard and the players. You keep trying to generate the atmosphere to get out of the and instead break the style of play to get to the fans generate the football. And at the end of the Arsenal, we make 2 minutes, but in the 7.6 surface field, with 3 key parts of the performance, I won't say it was a standard performance, but there are different aspects of Odegaard's impact Arsenal in very important ways. Firstly, in some of that play, and you have a player with front where receiving the ball under pressure. Even if Gabriel is limited on the Odegaard's able to make it. And in that one of them comes to making the right decision. And he throws it back, and this is not once. Maybe Odegaard has to play to the field, even if he doesn't make the first. Martin Odegaard is very familiar. When it comes to Martin Odegaard and the conversation, he is a player that divides quite a lot of the players. He outstands the season in the game. And unfortunately, the first was the best thing. And he also had the place. Where currently I want to focus on you. After all the court people that also find causing anxiety with the impact of it, We can focus on the fans and say that the beat, or we can focus on the players that actually have an impact on the field and make it very clear to Mikel Arteta. Literally what the atmosphere that you believe you deserve. Your football has to play. There's pressing from the fans. They're playing with a more direct style of play. Fans are always going to get behind. And the hunger to win is busy. Moving on to the fifth thing though.
Give me that. Give it a fuck. With long-lasting battery life on the Dell PC, you have all the power you need for whatever the day. Nice brings.
Zero of 3 successful defense against the Indians. This was just in our way. Thankfully, we have a player that could change everything on our teams. And again, we saw the return of the players almost set off them. Abuji as he has to play every him, Odegaard, and there's a state. And they ain't going too well. Go back to your best players. And they will produce. The second coming off the bench and on 9 points, a 6.4 rating, or 1 shot and 2 progressive carries. There was a level of shot. And more importantly, you could see a player working the move onto the bench straight to being more secure on the ball and tactic. With the games that Arsenal have coming up, as important as Odegaard is, as important as Abuji is, Bukayo Saka can be the game changer. Years of him being the star boy and the young star in the Southlands, he now has a chance to become the man. Carrying Arsenal attack over the line, but right now is the morning star as the games keep coming thick and fast. Wednesday we've got Atletico in the Champions League. On Saturday we've got Fulham in the Premier League, the Emirates thing. Games that aren't going to be easy. Fulham a team that are only 2 points off Atletico team that are banged at 4, but a team that have real quality in that final. With Julian Alvarez to Antoine Griezmann, it is going to be a very intriguing fixture. It also reminds us earlier in this season. In the same one that played against Newcastle at 1-0, they also smashed Atletico Madrid beat, as well as against Crystal Palace and West Ham. We then compared to the games that also coming up. The question is, can Arsenal keep that same pace? As we reach a stage that each game becomes a fight, performance really does matter. As Arsenal fans look for someone to really believe. It's funny because when you look at the performance against Man City, the result was weak. There wasn't performance to believe. And this game was a bit of the opposite. Less off to secure the 3 points and they got over the line. And the performance had you asking questions. Is it sustainable? Are we going to score enough points? And are we going to make it 5 wins out of it? But that's when we have to focus on Miles this game. As Mikel Arteta gave Arsenal fans a massive surprise by taking off Martins with Mendy and throwing on Marcus Mendy in central midfield. With Rice going as a number 6 on the right hand side. Lewis Skinny didn't have that much of the ball, but there was. We have a few Arsenal fans talking about this. It's also something that Arsenal have been a midfielder's first thoughts to pass the ball forwards. Help Arsenal generate ranges of the transfers. And again, you also saw Lewis Skinny's defensive vulnerabilities. There was the moment towards the end of the game. He got turned and he wasn't able to track. Not having that same defensive power of defenders. And you have to get players around. Lewis Skinny's ability on the ball could be the key to opening up the Arsenal, especially in the Champions. The reality about this game, it was a win that Arsenal keeps Arsenal. In these next few weeks and next few days, we're going to find out the truth behind this. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. What do you think of the performance? And what changes the Mikel Arteta need to make? I'm willing to let them against a particular. That is the video over, and then hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you have, don't forget to smash a like and also subscribe to the channel if you want to follow everyone all over the social media. You look down below in the description. But that was the 5 things we learned from Arsenal 1, Newcastle 0. We got the 3 points. That's what matters the most. It wasn't the best performance though, and that's what I'm a bit concerned about. But you know what, Arsenal, we've got a Champions League semi-final. You get yourselves a good performance there, and you score a few goals and get the win. I will talk about a completely different aspect. Friends, I'll see you next time. Take care of yourselves and peace.
Yes, guys, we'll go back to the instant reaction. Arsenal get It's done against Newcastle. So 3 points clear at the top of the Premier League. We're trying to make it 6 points clear against Fulham next weekend. My heart rate is about 507. My goodness me, that was stressful, but we got it done. We made it happen. George, there's so much to get into, but first and foremost, we just needed to win. We just needed to win that game.
We'd like to ask you some questions about the match.
This club's going to kill me.
No, we were just saying on the thing, I do think on rewatch, it's going to look a lot more fun than people think, but it is not going to be easy. It is not going to be easy to get it over the line, and it's not easy. It really isn't that easy.
I don't think there's anything else in my life that makes me feel this way. Like,
Thank you for answering the questions.
I think I could be hit by a car, and I wouldn't feel like I do right now. I could be chased with a knife, anything. Bro, my heart rate, when that ball's going in, I was bargaining with God. I was doing God, just I will do anything. I'll have anything. I'll lose all my money. Just please don't let this go in. Nick Pope's going up. I'm seeing the headlines. Mate, we got it done. It was not, as we said just before we went live. I actually think on the rewatch, when the emotions are a bit low, we'll feel a little bit different about this game. But right now, we just got it done. Thank you for joining us on the Instant Reaction. Appreciate you being here. I'm so excited to talk about an Arsenal win as well. We've stopped the rot, George.
Yeah,
4 domestic losses in a row. It's been horrible. I think there's been a lot of rewriting of what this team's problems are.
What's he talking about?
And Bukayo Saka certainly is not one of them. He came back and showed us something. We'll get into all of that.
Yeah.
Just give us your overall thoughts on the game, because I think it was a slightly odd game in some senses. Like, we weren't really massively pressing onto them, certainly for the whole game. We seemed to have some defence out of the ball. We were committing a lot of men in build-up. We were trying to play a little bit more on the counter-attack. Kai Havertz going off to a massive blow. Eze looks all right. But yeah, just a bit of I couldn't really find the thread of that game. It just felt odd.
For the first time, it was calming reassurance for me. I don't think a lot of people will feel that way, but it was, the how passive we were against Newcastle was something that was a common thread throughout the entire game, and it was intentional, and it felt, a little bit. I definitely think so. I look at our corner routines in terms of like us, going short, and we clearly had isolated that. Despite the crowd groans, like I actually think the corner routine was very emblematic of how I feel about this game. It's like it was intentional to go short. Everybody's pissed in the crowd. They're like, "Why are you doing it?" And it's about trying to get Newcastle out, because I think with running with them, it was going to highlight our weaknesses a lot more. And so I felt like it wasn't just the short corners in which we chose to do that. We sat off. I thought Zubimendi was higher and Rice was a little bit more reserved. I thought Zubimendi had a good game. And, Rice seemed to be stepping off a bit. He wasn't as, pressy man-to-man in that hole. Yes, he occupied, but he was more zonal. He wasn't really playing a man-to-man press like that. And I just thought that was nice, because the last couple games I felt like this team was too emotional. And they started to play the game that the opponent wanted. And this, to me, as much as it sucked, it was boring. Maybe we lacked urgency. Sorry, guys, that's Arsenal in 2026. And right. So it was like, honestly, I felt like, okay, that's okay. It was, in other games, it was more our lack of second balls, our lack of getting to a man, the lack of pressure, lack of getting back. The transition started to worry me. And I'll be honest, the first minute I was like, if Osulu's going to get that much time and space consistently, I'm going to be worried. But, honestly, after that, there wasn't too many transition moments. And the first 10 minutes were actually really good from us as well, from some combination play at the start of a lot of what was good. It's just a thing for me of us getting back our most dangerous players, because, I think with Saka, Havertz, and Eze, that's a front line that, I just haven't seen enough of this season. If we can field it at least 3 out of 5 times, I would be incredibly confident about doing something serious. And, the entertainment factor would be very different.
I really, really hope the Havertz thing is a precaution. I think the Eze thing certainly was. He was on the bench and he was on the pitch after the game. So even if he's not available for Atletico, hopefully it's a precautionary thing. I just really hope Havertz is fit, because we need your best players. You see Saka coming on the pitch for 15 minutes. Someone with a brain in our front three, mate. Just someone who can stop and do his job and pick out the right pass and has that calm thought. Like, not maybe we can have a section on him later, but like there's so much of his game that I get. I actually thought out of possession in the first half. He was locking on. on really well. He was causing them to make some big errors and build up, and they were giving it away. I think a lot because of Noni, he was tracking back well, gets into the box. It's this moment where he gets through, and he just does this like P-roller in like total space. There's no need to have a shot at that in that position, and just like gives it back to Nick Pope. I do not understand him in the final third, and that part of the game has to massively improve. But yeah, George, I think we wanted something different, right, from a tactical perspective. I think we got it to some degree, or maybe reverted back to what we had before. Certainly something different in the last few games. Line breakers, certainly first half, there was a lot of balls going through the centre of the pitch, and I'm I've wanted something to change. If Arteta's going to say to me, okay, I need more men behind the ball, and then I'll start playing the ball forward to stop those transition moments and deal with them better, okay, because then you start to access the pitch and areas of the pitch in different ways. As I say, I actually thought the first half, certainly with the sort of up to about the 25-minute mark, I thought we were pretty good. Yeah, and to go back in the corner point as well, I think that is, I wrote down on my notes, corner histrionics, and I think that whole thing sums up Arsenal right now. We have the best record. In fact, we broke the record for most goals scored from a corner this game.
Yeah.
And the most in a season, sorry, most ever in a Premier League season, and also the most ever in a Premier League season to go 1-0 up. We broke both of those records today. And we're doing something twice, and people are moaning, and Gary Neville's going, oh, and then we score, and then you go, oh yeah. That's where the emotional team, we could be the record-breaking team at doing something, and we're still nervous. It's really hard to, and we still don't trust the team to do the right thing, even though they have those records. So that's where we're at right now as a fan base. And I think we actually managed that well. As you say on the rewatch, I think we'll look back and go, okay, we actually managed the nerves quite well.
Yeah, like if I'm sitting there with my coach's hat on, this was really calm. And I know nobody will feel that way, but it genuinely, I looked at it and I was like, okay, there was a lot of control in terms of what we were doing, actually. It was boring. Like, I actually wanted to have more urgency. Like, there's a part of me that understands that goal difference is going to be a factor, and I thought Newcastle were there to be got at. But, like, you are playing with fire against a team that can transition with really good running power, that we know what, can happen if you lean into that. So it was one of those where I just thought it was mature. But I don't blame fans for lacking trust in a team that have done what they've done in the last 6 weeks. You know what I mean? So it's so that like distance between fan and like what's intention is going to be there, I think, until the team are able to serve up better complete performances. You know what I mean? But it was just a very pie and mash game. And I'm sorry, we're going to need some pie and mash games if you want like a title at the end of it. If we want these 5 games, I'll take pie and mash games all day long. The thing is, I thought Zubimendi was actually quite good. I wonder if we could do a little bit of a section on him, because I think he's had a little bit of a resurgence in the last couple of weeks. Just being a lot more positive about stepping forward and stepping into midfield and actually carrying it forward when he receives on the half turn. I thought Martin Odegaard did well in order to drop off and kind of create himself as an option for build-up, because there was definitely a lot more intent to bait Newcastle's press inside to release them centrally. And we did that really well in the first 20 minutes. It's just, I think at times with Zubimendi, the frustrating part is he is at his best when he's proactive. Like, no matter what, whether it's defensive, whether it's offensively. And to me, far too much, it's 2026 was him being passive and waiting for play to come to him. But as soon as he's attacking the play, he's attacking inside and like actually turning to go and provide a thrust, he ends up doing like fairly good actions. It's all about bravery with him. And look, you can kind of critique some of the mentality, in my opinion, about what he's shown in big games and in big moments. But for me, when he's confident and he plays forward, he's done well. And that was no different today. I thought Rice was more reserved of the two, and it was just nice for him to step into that role, because I don't know if he's been that dominant that often in 2026. So it was nice to see.
And I think also alongside an Odegaard who...
If you never have time to cook, this video is for you. Fried meals get delivered direct to your door, and you heat them up in minutes. No more coming home from work thinking, what am I going to cook tonight? They have low carb, high protein, and balanced meal options. And the food's all 100% natural. No UPS, no seed oils, no refined sugars or salts. Only really good, high quality food. It's just good food that makes your life easier.
devil's drink is so delicious. We should cheat the devil like baptizing. That's what Pope Clement VIII said in the 1600s when his advisors brought him coffee and demanded him ban it. They call it Satan's drink, and they wanted it forbidden. But the Pope took one sip, and instead of banning it, he blessed it. You see, coffee came from the Ottomans.
I see the benefits of what he does, but so much of the time when he's receiving the ball, he's facing the box, he's in and around zone 14.
Yeah.
He's either not playing that pass inside, he's either not finding his man, he's just reverting to the wide areas consistently. It feels like he's scared of playing that pass or giving it away or something, I don't know. So with that context, I think Zubimendi being more forceful, more thrustful, that's a word, more proactive, I think is really, really important. We'll come to a few super chats from Adam Smith. Petition to ban Gary Neville from commentating on Arsenal games. Yeah, look, as we said, it was. I'm still sweating. Like, it was absolutely horrible. I do think I would be fascinated to know if you just watched that game, so you weren't at the stadium, you couldn't listen to commentary, you didn't have anyone else around you, you didn't even know the context, let's say, of what was going on. I'd be fascinated to know what you would make of that game from Arsenal's perspective. I don't think I'm able to give that analysis. I'm too far gone. I'm too emotional. I'm too invested in this thing to be able to do that. But yeah, I'd be fascinated if a real neutral could tell you what that was, because I think you can feel, and it's not Sky, it's just a TV company are trying to find a narrative because that's what they have to do to keep it interesting, and whether that's actually accurate or not is a separate one. Gio the Gunner, Gyökeres has to be sold and replaced by Alvarez. There's a few more on Gyökeres, which we'll probably come to a little bit later. Have we got the numbers from Scott Willis to keep refreshing? Come on, Scott. Where's my free numbers?
I don't think he understands that he's just not good enough. It's just not. We lack urgency on the field, but Scott, we don't expect you to lack urgency after the match. Okay?
Is that a wedding? That is embarrassing. That is embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. I have to revert to the BBC numbers. Let me just pull those up. Here we are. There we go. There's the match momentum as we go across the match. Arsenal sort of generally dominating, Newcastle having some periods over the end there. Some of the key stats: Arsenal 45.3% possession, Newcastle 54.7%. Newcastle beating us on XG, George, and beating us on shots. Although, again, back to this sort of narrative thing, early on in the first half, Newcastle had like 8 shots or something since the Eze goal, and Gary Neville's given it the whole, I'd be worried, honestly, if I was Arsenal. Including shots like Dan Burns spooning it out to the corner flag. Yeah. It's like, you have to put some context to that. You can't just say, shots. Yeah. Nick Pope could have a shot, doesn't matter. Shots on target 4-3, which I think is really more the point across the and total touches in the opposition box 27-19. These are the numbers that we're really going to be looking at. Errol draws 1, 16 in their favour to 10.
in the context of that on the schedule, first or fourth game, I don't think take one look at City's perspective, they're going to be upset. I don't know how they can impact on it, but that's what I want to happen between 3-4 nil. So I think I look at other teams who are going to feel like that. Yeah, I'm really let's go. Question: what was running out of the working across teams is tough, but Asana helps you handle it. Asana AI can spot roadblocks and assign work to keep everything on track. That's how work gets handled. Visit us at asana.com. This much those are in place, he does like elements for a player in that perspective. This is where we're talking about how experience and we're looking for the ability to impact at a higher level. Like Nani can't expect to sit there and make it.
whether kind of what the diagnosis is. And I do think it's a mental thing, because I think it is. A lot of it, I don't think the World Cup has to get it right. I don't think missing the World Cup between track running, I'd love to know what the coaches think. Whether it's like a mental, I really don't know. I'm not trying to like we should be doing better. We should be doing better. But I would love to know. You know, sometimes with footballers, it's like this is what might be done. It's a tactical thing. Here's what you feel. You're fine. But this is what you feel. I'm telling you what you feel. No, you shouldn't do that. Right? I'm telling you what you feel.
Yeah. I have the feeling that the towards he could run for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I don't know.
Well, no, I mean more just like you address Rice's mention and put California up there, and because you Brighton away is the game I went. You cannot do this. You simply cannot not come out there because otherwise let's go. If they see that and go, okay, how do we get? They right now change the game plan. We don't have an outlet, so yeah, we have to get it. Nikos is brilliant from Capio today. Also, but Capio.
Can we ask you a question?
Look at the second ball, like just stepping inside. He's never lost the ball. What I love so much about him. He loses the ball, he go and get it back, to the side, run on. He's the sort of player.
No further questions, thank you.
But one thing that I'll say is, like, I do think at times that there's fatigue, right? Like, there's fatigue from the box as far as those pickup lines that run, right? And it's just moments defensively. Like, he's a lot better as a fullback in terms of what he naturally wants to do. We did a scout it and we talked about how proactive and on his toes he is. And I just think that the fact that he understands the importance of a late transition and dominating that from minute 0 to 90 consistently is something that I think I really appreciate. And that's what, the warrior and the fighting spirit that everybody